Hello, everyone. I'm Theory here, hailing from California. I'm here with Albino from Canada and Lorimbo from Italy. And
Yeah.
today we're going to make a tier list based on the last Battle Aces metagame, starting with 1v1. And yeah, we're going to go through the units, put them into tiers, talk about it, argue, debate, call each other stupid, whatever. Um, yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. But we're going to go ahead and get started. We have Lorimbo up first with the advanced blink. Where do you put the
Uh,
advanced blink in 1v1 Lorimbo?
I would say probably A tier. As in, it's a unit that shows significant meta play. It's not necessary. You don't have to play with this unit. But one of the best decks, especially towards the end, was making heavy use of advanced blink and advanced ballista as a combo to have to rush tier 3 and have a good anti-air and a good anti-ground on two bases. That's
Okay, yeah,
my
I can agree with this for 1v1. I really liked the advanced blink. It's a really well-rounded tier 3, or we
yeah.
call it tier 2 unit.
It's
Um,
it's a solid unit, good stats, cost is fine too.
Yeah, I feel like the unit quality of Advanced Blink was way too much. Like, it's the ultimate late game unit. You just spam it, it's micro bull, tanky, you can dive stuff. It's, for me personally, it's almost S tier.
yeah.
Uh well for me, like because I'm thinking about the tiers more about like meta representation and not necessarily only at the very top levels, right? I feel
Uh,
like the advanced blink is prevented from being S by being a bit harder to use, and at the very least having like somewhat of a weakness to some splash damages. So it's not, you didn't exactly dominate forever or anything like that. I think probably if we were doing pure strength in the right person capability, I would put it on S tier. But I'll go with high A for now.
Okay, cool. Um, do we want to sort it throughout the video, like in order, or just throw it in a tier to save time? What do you guys?
Nah, let's sort it. It's fun.
yeah,
It's
let's
Okay,
fun
sort
well,
that
it.
way.
I like sorting
okay.
it too.
All right, that's hardcore. All right, any objections, Albino? I think we're good with this.
It's, yeah.
Cool. All right, so Albino, where would you put the advanced bot?
Oh, this unit was so bad. It was like a direct downgrade to the Advanced Blink. I would put it in like D tier. Like maybe it had some niches, but I mean, if you're putting this in your deck, you're lacking war credits for sure. That's why it's in your deck. I mean,
Mm,
it just gets splashed down. It wasn't even that good versus air units. So what's the point, you know?
It had a cool animation though
It
when
had a
it
cool
stemmed.
animation,
it did have a very cool animation.
but there's like, I don't know, strictly from a competitive view, I don't think I ever used a deck this in it, basically.
Yeah, I don't think it's that great either.
I basically agree. I mean, there is like an argument to be made if like it's a F or a C, because like
Yeah.
it's just no, it's like nobody ever has played it, so it's really hard to even judge how bad it is
Yeah.
I mean,
specifically.
but the thing is, I played against it, and
It was not great.
it loses to like most tier 2 units,
Yeah,
like
splash
tier 2
units, tanky
Foundry.
units,
Yeah,
units with
it
the
was,
same role, it just loses to
yeah,
everything.
Yeah, like
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. It's like it's hard to to say how bad it is, but yeah, it's bad. It's what somewhere around there.
Cool. All right, so we'll
Okay.
put that in D tier. So I'm gonna do the advanced recall. I'm gonna put it in B tier. The unit's good for a tier 1 unit at what it does, but it really leaves a hole in your deck when it comes to like anti-heavy or just having a tanky unit or whatever. What do you guys think?
I like the advanced recall a lot. I think towards the end,
Advanced recall. Sorry, I got the name wrong.
it it was actually very good at dealing with heavy units, and you could play like that weird style
Yeah,
of, usually people would put mammoth in their air deck, so you could tech to air and then eventually just go ground. It would throw people off. And this was
Oh
like
yes,
sort of a variation of that, where instead of going like mammoth, you would go a bunch of advanced recalls.
yeah.
And
You'd
so
mix it
you
with
can,
like dragonfly or something.
this is like a prime mind game people unit. Like you
Yeah.
just mess with people with this. But the actual quality was a little poor. It was slow and lost to anything splash damage. So if people knew how to play around it, it wasn't insanely strong. But
That's how
Well,
I felt too. Which is why it was like a good unit. You'd win games with it, but it wasn't like A or S tier. Like it could be like high B.
I'm thinking about it because I'm pretty sure this got buffed at the very end.
it did.
And
Yeah.
after the buff, I remember this dishing out some insane damage. Like they
Do you know-
doubled their
Yeah.
DPS or something
Well,
like that.
you guys know what else got buffed at the same time though? Is the king crab.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think it got buffed to
obviously.
kill that.
And do you know how I know the advanced recall is good? Is because Don Ilya used it in every deck. That's
Oh,
how
that's
I
how
know
that's
it's
good.
good.
The goat. The goat.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a
Absolute
couple
goat.
of players that were big fan of this, even outside
Yeah,
of Don
oh, yeah.
Ilya, I mean.
Yeah.
It's at most at A minus, but probably B or B plus is right. Yeah, so I agree with this. Yeah, I think
I
it's
think-
fine.
It's very easy if we fill up the B tier, we'll just bump it up to A.
Yeah, but it's like
and
amongst
have it
the
at low A.
this was not a bad B unit, right?
Yeah.
Like this was
Yeah.
like in the right situation was actually pretty good.
All right, as a final call, I'm gonna put it in B
Okay.
for my turn. But yes, let's move on to the artillery. This is Lorimbo. So Lorimbo, where would you put the artillery?
I mean, is there something below F? Is there something like when you make the units, you're actually
The artillery
taking-
tier?
you're playing for the enemy. I feel like the artillery is it's I don't know, it's the worst unit I've ever seen. Is there a
think
unit
so.
that's I actually think this is the worst unit in the game. I
You know,
cannot.
I lost to Sturgeon multiple
my God.
times with him
Oh
using
my
this unit in
God.
his deck.
Well, I won't
But
comment. on
that made me
that.
change my mind a little bit.
You know-
Like,
You know, in my best of 5 versus parting, or it was a best of 9 versus parting, I played artillery one of the games.
Why?
I actually think this unit is quite underexplored. It did fit in a meta very briefly. I swear to God, for like 3 days, the artillery was the best unit in the game because it was just a full counter. But other than getting pwned by parting, this unit sucked. I don't think I ever lost to it.
Okay, so before I put it in F tier, pitch me a reason why it shouldn't be F tier. What's it supposed to counter?
When people were running like mass gunbot crusader, and I felt the crusader was a little weak, and then people would also do like advanced recall or mammoth, and artillery was a great thing to tech to because I kind of dealt with everything along that line
Did it?
of like it did sort of. If you had like a decent front line, like I played Scorpion artillery. So you could like deal with the Crusaders with Scorpion, and then you could splash everything down with artillery.
I mean, isn't it just a worse? I feel like this is the worst splash option.
It is terrible.
It's worse
not-
than
It is tier
Recall
2.
Shocker.
Yeah.
It's worse than Recall Shocker.
Worse than the shock lizard.
Yeah. Okay, I'll put it in F. Let's say F plus. I genuinely think this is the worst. I cannot think. No, actually, the standard R Hunter is probably worse. So it is F plus because I can think of a worse
Okay.
unit.
F plus it is. All right, Albino gets the airship. Where would you put the
Oh.
airship?
Oh, this was so good. I actually loved the airship so much because it did its job well. It's an anti-air unit. That anytime you put it, you know what I call this? This is the Don Ilya counter. Anytime I made a deck, I made a Don Ilya counter. You had to put one unit in that countered him, and this was it.
So would this kill the Falcon or what?
Yeah, it killed the Falcon. That was the whole point, because he would run Falcon advanced recall, so you just tech the airship. and you're
Of
winning.
course he would. Of course he would.
I would. This is like, for me, this is a low S tier unit. This was
Low
so
S
good.
tier.
It was so, and people ran a dragonfly a lot, and I feel like it just pwned the dragonfly too. Like, I never felt bad putting an airship in my deck.
Okay. Not only do I
I'd
agree
probably
with
put it
Albino,
A. Yeah, I wouldn't put it S, but
I'm
it is a
gonna
good unit.
I'm gonna blow up Theory's mind actually here. Before the last patch that nerfed it a bit, when I was top rank, both Bona and I were in the top 5 in the world at the same time. We both agreed that airship was the single best unit in the game, the most meta-defining unit in the game.
Yeah.
So I would have put it S plus there. Now it's probably S minus or S. I'm fine with
Okay.
S minus. I think it's a good call.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I think it'd be S minus to A plus.
I think
Just because I don't put it in my deck every time. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely meta defining. It's a key unit because it's air and it hits air and
Yeah, but like,
tickles the ground enough.
Even if you don't put it in your deck every time, every deck you ever make has to think of this unit.
Yeah.
Always. So it's like, to me, it's a clear S tier. Even if you don't want to play it, you have to think about it anyway. So it's
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna do the
assault
what is
bot,
this called
I
again?
think. I think it's
Assault
called
bot.
assault bot.
Oh, this is a hard one to rank. I'd probably the unit's not terrible because it's just a mineral dump. I'd put it like C plus or B minus. Just because there's better tier 2 rolls and it's worse than it doesn't trade versus all the tier 1 units. I'm just gonna put it as C plus.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this unit, like, it's just a better gunbot. What I would see is all the gunbot users would use this, and then to get countered by the same unit. I think that's
Yeah.
not how you use this. But the unit actually is pretty insane. But I mean,
It has its moments.
yeah, the tier 3 units or like the max tier 2 units are just absolutely insane. I feel like this is kind of the worst of them.
I would
Yeah.
actually argue for this to be at least B minus. Because I think the biggest problem was not that the unit was weak. I think most people use it wrong because they put it in decks that already had gunbots or otherwise other units that are the same counter as this. But as a tech slot, the insane DPS of this was quite nice in some situation, and there were like a couple of tier 3 decks that popped around, like more fringe sniper meta, like more fringe, like snipe deck, as in you would snipe someone else, specific deck that had this. I feel like it's overshadowed by other tier 3, so it cannot be too good. But it's a solid B minus. Like, to me, it had a place in the meta, and you will see this from time to time.
What do you think, Albino? Do you think it's a B minus?
It was good. The unit's very good. I wouldn't mind to bump it up.
All right.
It's
I will bump it up to B minus.
It's definitely behind Advanced Recall.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Not even close.
Oh,
It's in
my
between.
God.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Who
All right,
gets
Lorimbo,
this?
you get the.
Who was it that was
You get the
making
ballista.
YouTube video? Someone was making YouTube videos that's like, oh, Ballista's the new meta. It's so good. And he's just like stomping noobs. Like,
It's fucking horrible.
Okay, so Banana,
Yeah, this is a war credits problem unit.
yeah.
Banana is got to like 10k with only the standard deck, which does include the ballista, and okay, this is a good contender for worst unit in the game.
Yeah.
I think it got slightly buffed towards the ends, if I recall correctly. I think it's better than the artillery. Because at the very least, okay, hear me out. One, it's free. So you cannot accidentally buy it, which is, you know, you have to take.
Did you accidentally buy a unit before?
No, but I also bought every unit in the game because I played the game so much. So it's definitely F. That there is no doubt about that in my mind. Now the question is it worse or better than the artillery?
I personally think it was. I think it was much worse than the artillery. Like, it's very obvious for me.
To me, I actually not that convinced. I saw Ray Rain play a bunch with it, and while it's obviously awful, like sometimes, like it actually, like I feel like the artillery half of the time genuinely wouldn't do anything, and this wouldn't do anything. Maybe okay, the artillery wouldn't do anything 60% of the times. This wouldn't do anything 40% of the times. But the time he did something, it was worse than the artillery. So it was like a more
It feels like
consistent.
wasps.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah. Okay, no, okay, maybe it is. Okay, it is worse than artillery. The more I think about it, yeah, okay, F, solid F, like not even F
Yeah.
plus, maybe even F minus. It's hard to tell. All of these units are unplayable. It's hard to rank them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought into the propaganda of Ray Rain telling me it was actually secretly good.
Shout out to our boy Ray.
Yeah.
But the ballista is not it. Alright. So Albino, you get the beetle.
Oh, the beetle. This is one where like everyone used the beetle except me. I never used the beetle.
I never used it either.
Neither did I.
There was, I mean, I feel like at the start it was super strong. Everyone used it. It was in every
completely
deck.
busted.
You could
Yeah.
rush with it. You could like mass it. But then near the end, no one. It didn't exist.
It was also nerfed, I think.
It was
couple
nerfed
times.
into the
Heavily
ground.
nerfed. Yeah, heavily nerfed.
It was so. I don't know. Just for that reason, like at one point it was an S tier, and then kind of near the end it was like almost F tier. You'd never use it. So I'd put it like C, because we're gonna have to see what they do with this unit.
Oh my god. Oh
Jesus
my.
Christ.
We should be banned from this. This
Yeah.
is like
We're
actually
the
a
worst
crime.
chaos makers
Off
ever.
the dome. Off the dome.
This
Off
is-
the dome.
Actually a
Yeah.
crime that I just witnessed.
But you actually agree with the ranking, because I actually put it
I
here
think this
'cause,
unit's
like,
worse than the advanced spot, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
definitely near the end. Like it's close to F tier.
It
Yeah,
depends. It depends on how we want to rank it. Like I'm ranking stuff based on the end, like the last
Me
Okay.
too.
meta.
All right, if you
So I
want to
would
rank
put it
towards the end,
D
I'd put this
minus.
in. Yeah, I'll leave it D minus. I guess because you can use it.
I mean, it's definitely
Shoot.
better than the ballista.
Ballista.
That's definitely like this
They'll
is
probably kill a
I
ballista.
don't know.
1v1,
I didn't even
but-
see. Did you even see this thing at the last? Like the last?
Yeah,
update?
I played it up band. I played around with it actually when it was weak. Because I was a bit interested in how it would play out. So every anti-air unit has their own gimmicks. This one gimmick was that it was just more DPS against every unit than the normal anti-ground unit. It was just,
Yeah,
its main gimmick was just that
guess.
it was better than every other tier 1 unit.
I
It's actually
guess.
very boring as a unit. I feel like they wanted to go like for something that can shoot while moving, but it didn't really work out. So yeah, D minus for me. I think it's better than the artillery and the ballista, but
Okay.
solidly.
Okay, we all agree with D minus. Worse
Yeah,
than
it's-
advanced spot.
It's very close to F, but I'll leave it D minus.
D minus is about as close to F as we can.
It does.
we
It
can
does
get.
shoot up, so it'll bump it up to.
It does shoot up, but
Yeah, that's valuable.
you can
Cool.
kill a falcon with 50 of these.
All right, I get the behemoth. 2v2, it's a lot better than 1v1, I think, but I'd still put it maybe like A minus unit. It's not a bad deck slot option for tier 2, especially when paired with when you have a double tier 2
Tier 3.
factory deck or tier 3. What do they call it? Is it tier 0, 1, 2?
No, we went
Tier 1, 2, 3.
Okay,
Yeah,
we'll call 1,
1,
2, 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tier 3, like if you pair this with like especially like the heavy ballista or even advanced blink, just you have some DPS unit and this is tanky. This is a great option. It can kill crusaders, it can kill king crabs. Just a good tanky anti heavy option. It can kill mortars. Yeah, A minus. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I
A
think-
minus.
I like
Around
you
that.
know this is probably the only big unit that it felt bad to make destroyers into. Like destroyers actually weren't completely
Yeah.
insane versus
Mm.
unit.
Yeah. I like it.
So
It's
like even the intended counter was a little weak.
Mm.
So just for that reason, I actually really like it in A tier. And like that combo, that combination of like advanced blink, it's behemoth. This one,
Yeah,
Did I skip
behemoth.
Yeah,
Lorimbo,
advanced-
by the way?
advanced blink behemoth, or like heavy ballista behemoth. Then yeah, it combos, it complements other units very well.
Yeah,
Cool.
So that's why I'd leave it. in
it was
tier.
part of the equation of the double tier
Yeah.
3 strats. So to
Yeah.
me, it's like it's obviously worse than advanced blink, which was like very versatile, but it was basically played in the same strats. So A or A minus, your call, honestly.
Yeah, I'll just leave it A minus. Okay, cool. Sorry, I think I skipped you, Limbo, but I think this
It's
unit's more
fine.
interesting anyways. You get the blink.
Don't worry, it's fine. So this is okay. This is where who is playing it matters a lot. Okay. So I'm gonna,
Yeah.
if I have to be like as objective as possible for the top players, this is realistically a SRS plus unit. I've seen Parting play this and it's disgusting. I've had Clem play this against me and it was also disgusting. Okay? Now, if I have to play, if we go if we just get a bit out of the top 2 or top 3 if you include Trigger, and we just go like top 10-ish where I stayed for most of the play, where I finished and where I stayed for most of the beta testing. This was like actually not that good. I actually like it was insane like how quickly it scaled off. As in, either you were super good with it was insane, or it was completely unplayable because you will get destroyed by scorpions and wasps.
Yeah, scorpions and gunbots, I think, shredded it
Yeah.
near the end.
So it's very hard for me to judge this. This is actually one of the hardest ones. Like
I think me
between A
personally,
and
like,
S, yeah.
the
What do you say,
problem is
Albino?
like when I played versus Parting and Clem that would use this, it felt much better to play against this than when they played like Recall or Gunbot. Because
No,
like I feel like the blink theoretically on paper is like slightly worse than all the other tier 1 units.
But it's
Like,
well-rounded, right?
yeah,
But
it's
not great.
it doesn't do anything specifically very well. Like, it's not very tanky, doesn't deal lots of damage. You can just meme on noobs with it. But, you know, if you're much better than your opponent, then it works very well.
I will
So,
say
like, this is like one of those things that if you don't know what tier 1 to run, you just throw blink in. Like, it'll always be fine.
Yeah, I'd probably
it-
put it A plus, even in
would-
the end.
I'd
Or
put
A.
it. I actually think it's worse than the advanced blink, but better than the Emyth. Like, I'd put it in the middle.
I agree with Albino here, actually. I think because I think they're better than recalls, especially in the hands of like the very, very top players. But as a general unit, like for the top 10, top 20, I would even have gone as low as B, honestly, for my personal experience.
Yeah, that
I mean,
makes
I
sense.
I could see people putting this super low. But
Yeah,
it's
but like
insanely hard to use. But
like I'll put this in A, but with the caveat that this is a super hard unit to judge because of how dependent it is on precise micro and like strategy how you use it.
Yeah.
So this is a very like sketchy mark, but it's on paper it's A tier. So I'll put it there.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. All right, Albino, you get the Blink Hunter.
oh, this is another weird one. The problem with having blink units is blink is the best ability in every single video game. So you have to be very careful what you give blink to. This to me was like almost B tier at the end. Like, it's definitely B tier. I just don't know where in B tier because most people actually ran Blink Hunter. I preferred Wasp over it, or Hornet. Sorry, Hornet for my anti-air. It felt sort of weak from ground to ground. It was a little useless, and it costed.
Really?
Yeah, its ground to ground was a little bad. And as an anti-air unit, like, if you're dealing with anti-air with tier 1, the units you're dealing with are like Butterfly, Dragonfly, Airship. Everything deals with that. It's when you have Falcons, then you're cooked. Then you need a tier 2 unit of your own. So I'd put it, I like it there, the front of B tier, personally.
Okay. Can I try
I personally
to talk
think
you
it's
out of
better
this?
because it's like the perfect anti-cheese tier 1 unit. Like, if you're eating cheese, you just spam these.
So
I don't know. Like, what cheese?
Like, if you expand and they go one base, you can't, like, one base tech, you can't go tech also or you'll die. So you spend your gas efficiently to make these.
no, you definitely can go attack yourself. It's actually the preferred
If you expanded
method I had.
though,
No,
you think so?
expanding to tech. Yeah. That's actually how I held it every
Against
single
a one
time.
base?
Also, it depends on what they're doing too. Like what kind of one base. Like if it's like
I'm talking one base tech by them.
there's like different versions. Like you go like king crab, or you could go like shocker.
Yeah, but okay.
Wasp.
This thing versus the king crab all in was probably the worst. Like
Yes,
it was really
Pretty bad
bad.
versus king crab.
garbage,
Yeah.
yeah.
It went like what? Blink, recall, gunbot were the top 3.
Super great
Let's see
versus
if I
wasp
can-
and scorpion on. So
That is true, but
Okay,
I never.
I'll tell you. I actually would have put this in S tier, even at the end. And,
Really?
yes. I think this is the second best anti-air in the game. The best one probably being Hornet, with once again some caveats depending on your deck. I'll make my pitch, okay? Out of every tier 1 anti-air unit in the game, this one has the same DPS as most other, or higher, depending on if you're playing Hunter for some reason. But it has one important ability, which I think is very nice to have. The Blink is very good to snipe big air units on when there are not that many. Specifically, it's one of the very few ways of sniping falcons. This is why I will put it. So I think this is an S minus tier, S minus unit, because this is a unit that was super meta defining, as because it was one of the very few tier 1 counter to falcons that wouldn't let you lose the game on the spot. So if you were playing like me a lot of Foundry and you didn't have advanced blink in tier 3, or another strong anti-air like in tier 2, like the I'm trying to remember the robot I will shoot up. I can't remember blink the something Heavy Hunter. Yeah, Heavy Hunter. This unit was absolutely meta defining. The Hornet could do something like that too, but the Hornet was also much more easily cheesable by just standing on top of high ground. For example, camping around the third and stuff like that. While with this, you could blink, snipe a falcon and get out and trade like that. Which, because blinking would immediately shoot all of your volleys at once, this allowed you to get better value over the course of like blinking and then going back, then blinking, going back and kiting, compared to just units. So this is actually the best tier 1 against falcon, and it's not even closer with proper micro. And for that reason alone, and because obviously outside of Falcon, every other air unit that were like, tier 2 air unit wasn't really a problem with this. Like you didn't struggle against any other air unit. I think this was like S minus.
I personally put it ahead of regular blink. But yeah, I've also had situations where I could just like rush 3 base and just all in someone with tier 1 and win. Like this is one of the few units I feel like you could just mass it and win games at tier 1.
It's also, I think the anti-ground damage is also really not that bad, Albino.
Yeah, same as blink.
I'm not putting this thing in S tier with the king crab. It doesn't deserve it. But
where would you put it?
We can
still B plus.
You can bump it up. You can bump it up to A. I do it in front of the blink for sure. It's not better than advanced blink.
I'm fine. I think these are fine spot, but like Beast.
I like that spot.
Beast.
It's better than these two.
I don't
Like,
know. I was never a big fan of the blink hunter. I felt.
Yeah, but did you see the meta dominance? Like, can you compare it to advanced recall? Are you really comparing to advanced?
Okay. It's not. It's definitely better than advanced recall. That's why I had it ahead.
All right, Lorimbo, you get the bomber.
No, I just did the. Oh no, he did the blink hunter. Bomber. But this is a hard one. He got buffed at the end.
It's not.
It's like no. It's really hard for me. It's really hard for me. Because my first instinct is to put it D minus or F plus. Like I thought this was terrible, but I know that this is fun and that there were like some weird strategies around.
This is not a fun tier list. Fun tier list. This thing is up there.
No. I mean, I feel like, who was it? I think one of the top tier players. I can't remember if it was like Trigger or Clem. Like yeah. At one point, they legitimately thought that this was a good unit. Like they actually use it competitively.
Yeah. It used to be pretty good back when it.
No, not in the super busted state. theory. I'm talking by the end, like
Yeah, by the
towards
end,
the
it was,
end.
I thought it was horrible, but I thought it was F.
I also thought it was F, but it's between F plus and D minus, because I think this definitely had more use than artillery. Not even close, in my opinion. Like, this at least did something. You know, if your opponent had a lot of wasp, this honestly dealt with them pretty well for a good cost. And
It
Scorpion was
annoys
fighting
them more
against
than it
Scorpion.
counters them.
You know,
I could see this being like D minus. It fits an extremely small niche.
I'm
Whereas
thinking
like
F plus or D minus.
where
Maybe.
like ballista and artillery literally always have better options you can just put instead. But there's nothing that's like the bomber, you know?
But like, no, but for me, ballista and
It's way better
artillery,
units than the bomber.
like,
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to run into people's mineral lines and kill wasp players, like
yeah.
the
Also,
bomber does that.
I feel like ballista and artillery genuinely get. You will be better off just doing any tier 1 for the same cost is better than them, like straight up.
Yeah,
The
maybe
bomber,
it is F.
I see
You know-
situations in which it might work out.
I
Alright,
would
Lorimbo,
put
where would you put it, Lorimbo?
Top. Okay, let's put it top of F tier.
Okay. I agree with that.
It's in between. It's there.
Alright, I get the bulwark. Is that what this is called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bulwark.
The bulwark.
Ah,
This unit was fucking garbage. Like
The big node.
I
It's
don't
like
want to influence. I don't want to influence.
playable. So I
but-
wouldn't
Was
put
it
F.
playable? Oh.
I think D. Middle of D.
In front of the beetle? I put this thing in F, dude. This thing was garbage.
Bro, you think the okay, if this goes at D minus, then the bomber also goes in D minus. Because there is no
Yeah, this
way
thing was
this is
bad.
better than the bomber.
Because the problem with the bulwark is like
It's also so
the same.
expensive.
It's the same issue with
Yeah.
everything else. There's just better options in that tier to put in 100% of the time.
I'm gonna put it ahead of the ballista.
Okay, yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's even. You might. I think there's a decent argument. I
You
think it's
know what?
better than the artillery.
I think it's worse than the ballista.
No. No.
I don't know about that.
It
It's
got buffed.
close.
It got buffed at
It's
the
fu-
end. It got buffed.
That
Oh,
is my
did it?
final
Okay.
final answer on the
Okay.
bulwark. But all right, Albino
Mm.
or who's going first?
Yeah, I think it's me, right?
it the-
Butterfly?
Yeah, Albino. Yeah, butterfly.
Oh, this one was good too. Fuck. This one was good at the end. I remember someone used this against me in a tournament. They went sniper butterfly, and it was actually kind of nasty. I'd put this. I think it's the end of B tier. I don't think it's much better. The problem with this is like it was extremely slow. They got one shot by like most things and got absolutely obliterated by the airship. It could even go in C tier, honestly, but
Mm.
it did have times like if you had the situation where you kind of checkmated someone, they couldn't shoot up. Butterfly was the best option to have.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah,
a win more
I could agree with
situation.
this.
I want this in C. I think the reason why you struggle so much against it, you're overvaluing because you were not playing Blink Hunter, which would
Yes,
absolutely
could be.
shatter this.
Well, I played Hornet, so and Hornet's
Yeah, but-
fine.
No, I feel it because Hornet are so fragile, and also, once again, it's a bit harder to like catch them. Like with Blink, like if they even get to the edge, you can just snipe one. Once again, I think this to me is like this is an example of a C unit. It had its niche. It definitely had a lot of. It had insane damage. Like one of the highest DPS in the
Yeah.
game.
That's why I like it.
Not Viv, bro. Come on. Even after the buff, like before the buff, it was not even close. But after the buff,
Well, I mean,
still-
but yeah, before the buff is trash, but we could put it C tier. I think that's fair. It's almost. It's
Top
gotta
of
be
C.
close to B.
yeah, I
Yeah, it
think,
could
I
be the
think-
best C or the worst B. I think.
Yeah, because this I remember one game specifically where a guy sat on snipers, mortars, and made butterflies, and would just like go to the very edge of my snipers to kill my snipers, and it worked well because their DPS is so high. You just have to get close to my snipers. That's it. Look at Lorimbo. Hey, I'm one
Albino was
so-
playing in another world. I don't know who he was playing.
No,
at.
I did
He's
win that
technically the
series.
second best tournament player.
I did beat, everyone.
That is true.
All right, is it Lorimbo's turn?
Yeah.
All right.
Dude, can we give
Okay.
Lorimbo a good unit? Oh my god.
Okay. You say that. Are you
I get the
ready?
crab.
Oh no, he's gonna say the crab is good.
B plus. Easy.
No, get him the
the
fuck
hell?
out of here. This is
Okay.
not B plus.
Okay. Maybe B plus is a bit much, I will admit. But this is at least C. I'm not joking. I think but if you didn't know, I played the crab only for basically the first 2 weeks. I only played crab as my tier 1 anti-ground unit. It's really not as bad as people say. The worst thing
It's
about the
playable.
crab is that the scorpion exists.
Yeah,
Which does
that
the
was
job
mine.
much better.
Yeah.
And then obviously stuff like before the nerfs, Wasp were also like way too good because of how tanky. But after the nerfs to Wasps and like outside of Scorpions being overstated, I feel like the crab really wasn't as bad as people think. They were pretty tanky units. And because of the way battleaces works, you can quite easily sneak by. Even at a very high level, even in the early game. If this gets on top of a mineral line, its DPS compared to HP is actually very high. This can kill mineral lines fairly quickly for cheap and while being hard to remove. I think for this reason alone, this is like a C plus B minus unit kind of deal. What do you think, Albino? What makes you feel less uncomfortable?
The problem is it was always outshined by different tier 1 units.
Yes.
Either and that did the exact same thing. Like the Scorpion was always better than, maybe not always better, but at the end it was better. The Wasp was better than this.
No,
Like,
the Scorpion was better even from the start. Like I tested
Yeah.
this.
exactly. So
Mhm.
like even it's definitely better than the units in D tier, but I wouldn't put it above the butterfly personally.
I would. Okay, C plus above the
This guy is
butterfly.
brainwashed by the dancing crab emotes.
Boran got to 10k with crabs. Before the
And I
king
got
crab
13k with scorpions that do the same thing, I don't know. I feel like there's always been a better option, and
Yeah, that's
maybe
right.
actually
I think it's
I don't
okay.
mind this. Yeah, butterflies kind of.
Like-
I get the Crusader.
Oh,
At
Top
the
of
end,
S. Meta defining. Yeah, I think so.
it was.
Kills mortars.
uh,
It was in that like the 4 tier 2 factory units that were crazy. Crusader, King Crab, Destroyer, and Mortar. I feel like you have to consider this unit whenever you're playing. Like if you don't have anti-heavy in your deck, this will kill you.
I mean, I definitely agree with that. It's definitely like A plus or S minus. I'm not sure it's that tight. Like, is it better than
I
the
personally,
airship?
yeah, I don't think it's better than the airship, but
Like,
the
it's
only
around
reason,
that area for sure.
yeah, it's definitely S tier. I mean, it does its fucking job. It's a big penis
Yeah.
bumper that sits in front of your gun bots. That's
Like-
all you want.
My reasoning for like putting it in S minus compared to just S or even A plus is because I feel like towards the end the King Crab was slightly better at doing the same
Yeah.
thing, and this guy got bodied really hard by the Destroyer. The King Crab did too, but it was faster. It was faster and had
Yeah.
a bit more utility overall. So it's in between S minus and M plus for me. This was fucking disgusting before the nerf, by the way. Before the Destroyer
Yeah,
buffs.
before the
this was
Destroyer buff, yeah.
single-handedly the most
Yeah,
broken
it was crazy.
Foundry unit in the game.
I think it's better than all these A units by a lot.
Yeah, S minus is fine.
I'd probably leave it
Yeah.
S minus, but okay. I think it's Albino's turn. You get the Destroyer.
This is pretty easy for me. I'd put it S tier, but below the Crusader. It
Below
just,
the Crusader.
yeah, I'd put it below. Just because the Crusader, you'd literally make it into everything except the destroyer. The only reason the destroyer is good is because it counters the units in S tier. That's the only
Unironically
reason.
true.
Like it gets absolutely dumpstered by everything except for like 3 S tier units. You know that
Which
it
it-
completely counters.
So yeah,
Which it did. Yeah, it does its fucking job. It absolutely, you know, just completely bullies King Crab, Crusader, and even others like Mammoth. If you had those, or it wasn't even bad versus like heavy ballistas, or
no, it was really bad against the
it.
Ballista. Come on,
I've used them like there's situations where like if you had 3, you could like one tap one, and since they're so big, you could like one tap and kite, one tap and kite. But like
Did they outtrain
if I
JV Ballistas?
Huh?
Did they actually outtrain JV Ballistas?
I don't think
so.
outrange, but you would trade relatively evenly. Like if it wasn't just a complete stomp, like most of the time. But even versus like some of the little units, I don't know. This thing lost to most things and then beat 3 S tier units. That's why it's an S tier.
My turn. Okay, I get
Yeah,
the
yeah.
dragonfly. Okay, this is tough. I want to put it in S minus because in the hands of Parting or Clem, this unit is unmanageable, I feel, unless you have the airship in your deck. And you could even get around airships if you were as good as like Parting or Clem.
I know for a fact those 3 absolutely like this was the best unit in the game for them. But me personally, I actually didn't like it that much.
I'm with
It tri-
Albino
it tried-
on this one.
Yeah, this is another one that's like super good at mind gaming people. But I'd put it A, like top of A personally. I don't think this belongs with them.
I actually agree with Albino here, even though it's a controversial play. Like the problem with this is that I have to like look at a more average, even average for top 10 or top 20 instead of just those 3 players result,
Yeah.
right? And like
Okay.
of course this has like such a high skill cap ceiling. You can do this.
It's one of the hardest
custom stuff with
units
this,
to control in the game, I think.
Yeah, but in its actual role, it was in between a butterfly and a falcon. It kind of did both at the same time. Like, as in, it would really, you could use it as a harass and also would force your opponent to get some decent anti-air. But I feel like it didn't do the falcon job as well as the falcon.
No.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Because the Falcon,
Falcon
exists and
was
the airship
insane.
exists, I'll probably put it A then. Because, yeah, I guess it's not in every deck, but it is, like, a great unit.
It's a very good unit, no doubt
Yeah,
about that.
Yeah.
Okay, whose turn is it again? Is it
Mine.
Lorimbo's? Okay, Falcon.
S plus, easier.
Where-
I mean, this
yeah,
is...
I agree.
Yeah, above everything.
Oh, wow,
This is
okay.
completely meta defining. For me, there is no okay. I'll put it, this unit is actually, in my opinion, one of the worst design unit in the game. I hated this so much.
Yeah, it was bad.
It's a unit that not only was it disgusting, completely broken, and like super good when you actually played it, but this is the only unit in the game that just by virtue of existing in one's deck would completely prevent your opponent from ever teching. You could not tech against this because you would instantly lose to Falcons if you didn't have an anti-air unit in the right spots. This unit single-handedly made half of the units or like the combo not viable at all because it was super easy to use. There was no counterplay. Like, it's not like you could just outplay it. Or do...
Yeah, it's super slow. You can't outplay it because they just leave a
Yeah.
Falcon at home.
When you
It's
start
just-
to see this show up in decks, you start to change your deck between games
Yeah.
around this unit. Either you
and
copy
it-
them or you have to build
Yeah,
some
it
shit
was-
anti-air just to counter it.
Like,
Yeah.
this was ridiculous. I really
Yeah.
dislike this because I felt this unit was so oppressive to like go well beyond the normal meta game, where it started actually suppressing even actions in game, where you couldn't tech up, you couldn't choose decks, you couldn't like choose certain comps just because of the unit existing. Not even it being made. Like, your opponent didn't even need to tech to this. Just the threat of possibly teching to this was enough.
I completely
I agree.
This unit was fucking insane.
It was so good.
It was like you would get absolutely memed on by Don Elia 5,000 games in a row of him.
Oh, I
spamming.
loved
Dude,
playing. We would base
had
trade
this,
each other with Falcons. His Falcons would be killing my base. My Falcons killing his base. It was just who had more Falcons.
He had this in his deck from the start to the very end. He never removed it from the slot once.
He knew.
He knew.
He always knows. His decks are always the best units.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Albino? Gunbot.
Oh no. Oh no. People are not gonna like me. But this was actually the only tier 1 unit I never really used. And it just, to me, it felt sort of weak almost. Like you would have to build these up, and it was very hard to use. I feel like the top level like Lorimbo. I didn't like this unit that much.
Albano,
I
are you
thought-
sure you're a Zerg player? Are you sure you're not a 4K Cannon Rusher Protoss player?
I feel like Gunbot, like if you
That was
played
crazy.
if you played it properly, it did beat Scorpion, but not all the time. And it like sort of lost to Blink, and
It
the
wrecks
only thing,
recall.
the thing is it does absolutely pwn recall. I would not put the Gunbot in S tier, but I put it
I
like
wouldn't either.
Can we have a
I put it above
system?
Blink personally.
Anything below S plus for these units,
No.
you guys are being. Oh my god! I'm gonna
This
actually
is
quit
not-
the video.
this is
This
not.
is the okay. First off, I have 190 APM on average on StarCraft, and I could use this perfectly. In fact, I play this against Clem in ladder and out microed him. You saying that the unit is hard to use is like the players telling you that the carriers are hard to use.
No,
You're actually
no,
being
no, no, no.
delusional.
Because-
oh my
because-
fucking god.
The issue was, like, I played Scorpion, and if you lost any Gunbots to Scorpions, it's a good trade for the Scorpion player. That's why I say that. And like,
Oh my god.
This
unit was the
And
second best tier 1 in the game. Was the best tier 1 in the game. Basically for the whole game, except when Scorpions got buffed twice for no reason.
And-
when they got
and-
nerfed.
and like, also, the thing is, when you made a deck, you always put a splash unit. You always put Shocker or Mortar. You always had something that
Yeah.
dealt with Gunbots
And-
very well.
And then you couldn't tech up to it because your opponent had the Falcon. And you were like, oh, I guess I'm stuck playing tier 1 forever. And my opponent has the Gambot, which means he wins. The amount of games I played against Stefano, where we both just played... In fact, at one point, we started taking into Hornets only because Hornets are the best anti-air unit that synergizes well with Wasps and Gambots. And we were never teching ever because we couldn't. Tech, it will just be at least S. You cannot put this below the destroyer. You can't. You're trolling. You're actually trolling. There is no way you're serious.
Albino
put
did
it-
beat all these Gunbot players in the tournament.
Yeah, I did beat Clem and Trigger and Parting, all with. They all use Gunbot because I like.
Yeah, and
you say it's
Albino
easy
beat,
to
and
use.
Albino also beat you. So I guess, sorry, not Albino. I mean, Donilia also beat you. Does that make?
That doesn't count. Everyone's
No,
lost to
that-
Donelia. That doesn't
Everyone
count.
loses to Dahlia. Yeah, he's the
And
god.
I've never lost to him in a tournament setting. So I would put it. I think it's fair if we put it low S tier, like the lowest, because it's not part of this like the quad, the quad like.
You're so
I-
you're so lucky that the hospital doesn't cost a lot of money in Italy, because I'm definitely billing you for the heart attack that you're causing me.
Yeah, I could see it being above Destroyer, but I mean,
You get the final call, Albino. Gunbot's
yeah,
your unit.
if Lorimbo's going to die, we can put it above Destroyer. But I don't think this is.
No,
Like,
below the Crusader, I'm
it-
fine. Below the
It's
Crusader,
not
I'm
like
fine.
it's not like an obvious S straight to the left, but I can put it above the Destroyer.
It
Okay.
really
It does-
is for
it is-
me, but at
it-
least
it
above
is-
the Destroyer.
It is the unit that pwns the Destroyer, a tier 1 swarm.
One of
unit.
the main. One of the main.
Yeah, one of the
units.
many. So I think it's fair to put it here.
Okay, cool. All right, we got the heavy ballista
I think that's you.
I'm gonna put it above Blink in the A tier. Like, it's just a good all-around tier 3 unit. Can't go wrong with it. It really only dies to snipers and air units in tier 2. I don't know what you guys think.
I would put it a bit higher, probably. I feel like this was a pretty good. You know, it was part like one of those things where you will see like advanced blink heavy ballista because it would kinda counter everything, or like advanced
Or like
blink,
Behemoth with it too.
Behemoth
Just have it-
ballista. So like to me they're all more or less the same. I think it's definitely better than blink counter, even though I really like the blink counter. I would put it at S tier, but I would also put the heavy ballista in S tier.
I don't think it's better than Advanced Blink, but above the Blink Hunter.
I could see that.
Yeah,
Just because
I think
anyone
we
can
get
play
that.
this unit, you have to play around it, where Blink Hunter is hard to control. Yeah, I could do that, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is like a good spot for it.
Okay, yeah, I don't think there's much else to say about that one. Alright, Lorimbo, Heavy Hunter.
Okay, I mean, people who have seen this unit at the start might find this controversially, but bottom of C tier, probably.
Yeah.
It
It
was
fell
re-
off.
It's
it was
not good.
very bad at the end.
It used to be
I mean-
the best unit of the game, but
It used to be S plus, yeah.
It was insane. Fuck.
Okay, so let me think about it where I want to put. Okay, so it definitely did its job pretty decently, still, even at the end. It did get nerfed a lot, even in range, if I remember correctly.
yeah. There's bad
It's-
versus ground in the end.
It was really bad versus
It was
ground.
completely useless versus ground. They nerfed the range against ground. They nerfed the range against air, and then didn't they do something weird where it did extra damage to like big air units or something?
Yeah,
It
it
was
was like they wanted to morph this into like a kind of anti-big air units.
Yeah,
But the
but
problem was.
you never really saw big air units. I mean, cat buses were fun. They were a little
Yeah.
bit of a meme, but this unit was really bad towards the end. Like almost D tier for me. The only reason I don't put it in D tier is because it had its time in the in the limelight a little bit.
No, I think C minus is fine because, like, if I think of it, like, I could see myself picking this a couple of times,
Yeah.
especially like there was a point I remember where like a lot of people were playing stuff like Cat Bus and Valkyrie, while they like compared to the Beetle or like I always forget the name of that, the Advanced Bot I think it's called.
Yeah,
Like, where I genuinely cannot think of why I will put it
that's true. That's
in
true.
my.
Yeah.
So C
I like
minus
this.
it is.
Yeah, I think that's good. Alright, Albino, you get the flak turret. This is
Which
the one
turret?
that- Starforge.
This is the heavy one.
I
I
never
mean,
made this shit,
I
so
feel
I don't know.
I feel like there was one person that made turrets half decent, and it was Print F, and I still never lost to Print F. This unit was fucking terrible. I mean,
F or D.
I feel like because the whole point is like you place it down and it defends your base, right? That's like the intended interaction, and it didn't even do that well. I'd put it F, but behind the bomber. Me personally, this unit was just.
I thought artillery was better still. I guess I think artillery isn't the worst unit, is why. But
The thing, like, I don't know if you played Printf, but he actually made these things half decent.
me and Lorimbo played
Yeah.
in 2v2, right? We played them in
No,
the 2v2
yeah, but
show match.
Yeah, but in 2v2 it didn't work nearly as well. I think in
Yeah.
1v1, I think D minus. I feel like it's worse than Beetle, but better than Bomber. But only because of one unintended interaction, actually. Which is the only reason why this unit is not like complete garbage. You can use it as a force field.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can like body
That's-
block with it.
You can like, and it's like surprisingly tricky.
It is, yeah.
To.
But I mean,
so,
I feel like the problem is once you know the gimmick, you can
Yeah.
play around it very easily.
obviously,
Yeah.
I don't.
mean,
Honestly, with units this bad, like anything in D or F, it's just like
anything. Yeah.
completely unplayable. Like there's slightly degrees of like you play this one game out of 1,000 compared to one game out of 1,000,000. Where, like, is there really a difference there? whatever is fine. Albino is your call.
I like it where it is. I
Okay.
feel like it's yeah.
Sure.
Okay, I get the Hornet. I'm probably the least qualified Hornet player in this call to choose where it goes. I would probably put it here in A tier. Yeah, I thought this unit wasn't meta defining, but it was alright. And it was easy to use. I don't know what you guys think.
S plus. It's the best. It's the best unit that it. Yeah, it's the best unit that does its job. Literally
agree.
the best
It
tier
was
1
very
and
good.
tier unit. Like it's and because of the way it changed, like you had to have a tier 1 anti unit. That the
I feel like it
meta
was an
went
S
into.
plus though, because like I would go recall hunt. What is it called? Recall hunters and advanced blink just as much as I would make anyone would make Hornets. Like it didn't override.
Well, it wasn't very
every
popular. It
anti-air.
wasn't very popular. I agree with you. Like
This was my favorite tier 1 anti-air unit, but I really don't want to put this above Advanced Blink. Like the unit quality of Advanced Blink is so high, even though it's tier 3. Like
yeah, but it's tier 3 and like it was specific to certain decks. The Hornet was splashable into everything. Think about it.
Hornet was the best tier 1 anti-air, but all the tier 1 anti-air were a little iffy.
Yeah, but
like this could be replaced with a Wasp and be fine, I feel.
No.
Or a Scorpion.
To me, I guess this is different in the way we rank. Like to me, this is an obvious plus because there was nothing else that could like take his. This was the best one. You couldn't get better than that. There was an argument for Blink Hunter because of the unique property of Blink, while this was better statted. But if you're just if you're just looking at how present it was, then I think this is probably a fine spot.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like in S unit, if they nerfed it, I'd be like, oh yeah, it makes sense. But if they nerfed this thing, I'd be like, why?
Okay, when you look at it like that, okay, makes sense. I guess.
But also, like in a game, if I need anti-air, I'm not like, oh, Hornet. Yeah, I got that. Like I already have my airship Donelia counter, so I'm chilling.
I mean, I would like.
I want to put it more. I want to put it right here. But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys think it's better than Heavy Ballista?
Yes.
Yeah, I do think it's. I don't think it's better than Advanced Blink.
I think I'll go with
more
this.
splashable.
So high-ish A tier. Okay. Who's next? Lorimbo, you get this thing.
Why do I always get this? Like all of the units that are controversial, Albino gets, and then says that the Gambot is like B or something, and then I get the Hunter. Yeah. I don't know.
It's a starter unit.
I genuinely think this is should be the result of a class action lawsuit, because this unit is so bad. It like buying into the game hype, and then this is in the starter deck. Almost feels like you haven't paid nothing and you still feel like you got scammed. This is F minus. This is lawsuit tier. We should have like a lawsuit tier. I can't believe you actually made this unit.
This unit is fucking bad.
It's a core unit. It doesn't do its job.
But first off, it's literally worse than every other single anti-air in the game. Yeah. And when I say literally, I mean it. I don't mean it as in, it has some unique properties that we value less than others. I mean, this has no unique property, and just straight up, every single stat is lower than the Blink Hunter, for example.
This unit was terrible. It had there was absolute zero reason to run this in a deck ever.
Challenges.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Albino, you get Cat Bus.
S++.
No.
Double S.
This unit was not. The thing is like, I want the community to like me, so I'll put it higher than I think. Especially, we know battleaces is like the dating RTS, right? So below the destroyer S tier. No, I'm just kidding. I put this thing, but it's definitely above advanced recall for me. But like top of B.
Yeah.
it did its job. It was funny and it killed ground units. It
Hilarious
was
meme
big,
though.
yeah. It was, yeah.
I feel like when
I think
Parting was like the main player to use it, and he made it feel OP, but no one else
yeah,
made it feel
that's true.
OP.
But there was lots of metas where it got countered hard, like the Valkyrie. It was only very good near the very end. Valkyrie and Heavy Hunter at one point beat this.
Yeah.
Like people actually started running Heavy Hunter a little bit because of this, but it's to me it wasn't as impactful as Behemoth or Blink or Advanced Blink especially. Like
I mean, the way I see it is that this did the same job as the Falcon, sorry. Except it was higher tier, costed more, wasn't as big of a, like, because in late game, attacking is less expensive for your opponent. So you couldn't really lock them out.
yeah.
Like, it was, yeah, I
like
think
it
that's
where it
about
is.
it's solid meme and, like, good fun unit, but, yeah, B plus at most.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Oh no.
All right, King Crab.
My
All right,
baby.
this is
Dude,
mine.
near the end.
How do I make it the best unit? This unit was godly in the end. It was really hard countered by the Destroyer. I'd put it here. What do you guys say?
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't think it's better than the Falcon. I literally would have put it in the same spot.
This was the unit that made me the most money in battleaces for sure. And it was insane one base potential. I mean, it was a free fucking win. If you
Coincidentally, it's also the unit that made me the most amount of money because it's the unit that made me gain 1,000 points and thus qualify to play Clem in the end, get my 53
Oh, it
bucks
lost you.
Yeah, for losing zero. No, because you still get money for losing.
Oh,
and I would not. I've been. I don't know. Actually, in retrospective, I think about some
like
other,
if you got a weaker opponent.
I really got shafted there. Okay, all I'm saying is I really got shafted in that one. Show match. It's goated unit. Yeah.
The King, like you could stutter step this thing. It was insane. Yeah. You could one base all in with it. You could go for like, because it was super fast, you could just get full like 360 surrounds on people. There was near the end, this thing was absolutely
I'll tell you what, in fact, even before all of the buffs, this unit was already pretty good.
It was okay. It was
then they made it crazy. When they saw they buffed it, I was like, it's already become meta. It's already meta. Why'd they buff it? I feel like they're a day behind.
The first buff was like, I kinda see it. Like, I don't think it's super necessary, but I see the angle. And the second one was like, what?
Geez.
Oh no!
Yeah. Parting wakes up to play his match versus Albino and gets bodied because he doesn't know the crab meta.
Yeah, I love this unit. It's also a good meme. Like, there's literally nothing wrong with this unit.
Yeah,
it's a good meme. It's funny.
It's great. Yeah. All right, Lorimbo, you get the crack.
Hey, this can be controversial. You can make it.
Is this like? Is this scripted? Have you pre-ordered the tier list so I always get the... I mean, this is not controversial. It's F. It's like it's better below the bomber. Below the bomber.
Really? You think this thing's better than the turret?
No, okay. Actually, no, because the turret has one new scenario.
Yeah.
I think it's better than the artillery. Like, I mean, it's almost impossible to classify. It's both worse than the Hunter in some ways, and at the same time, better than like some of even the D tier units. It's like, just let's put it. It's honestly unclassified. It's like it's a meme thing, you know. It's like cost.
That's what I always say. I'm like, oh, this is just in the game to advertise. To have like cutscenes or whatever.
I like the cut boost where it's like, you know, while it's a very marketable unit, it's also like somewhat close to the meta. This is just like a complete joke of a unit.
It is very.
Isn't it like 15,000 credits?
Yeah.
Oh
it's like,
my god, 1,500.
1,500. Yeah.
1,500.
No, it's 3,500. I think. Actually, not 1,500.
Yeah. What? It was insane to unlock, and like this thing lost to 3,000 because it cost 3,000. Any anti-air unit that with that same cost, you'd completely lose. Like 3,000 worth of Valkyries or airships or heavy hunters or maybe even the hunter.
Maybe even the
Like,
hunter can
I
beat
think
the
it's
Cracker.
close.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think this is a good spot.
Wow, how controversial.
All right, Albino, you get the locust.
This
This is
is
super
another
controversial,
controversial.
actually.
Yeah. The problem for because there was a time where this was pretty gnarly. It was very good, and then they nerfed it. I felt like it was very good near the end though. It was
I feel like it's
almost
a
the
worse
best.
dragonfly.
It definitely is worse Dragonfly. I personally think it's like close to B tier. I'm not sure where though. I'd put it maybe above the assault bot. But I do think it's worse than Advanced Recall.
I'd
'Cause
put it
it-
like
it-
below butterfly, but that's just me.
I also would put it below Butterfly.
Lower, yeah.
Yeah,
That-
but it...
This was like one of the units where it actually was a win condition late game. Like if you got a ton of these out, it did counter a lot of decks, and you would
Yeah,
just absolutely blow up mineral lines with like
Yeah,
10
but-
of these.
Not only that, but you could also like snipe the main base of your opponent
Yeah.
in that way too with this.
So I feel like it felt like the problem with the assault bot is like it's countered very easily, and Locust kind of has the same issue, but it is a win condition and
I like the assault boat. Yeah, I kind of like I kind of agree with Albino in retrospect. I feel like
yeah.
at the very least this like at a unique spot where you could just if you just reach the critical mass and your opponent was none the wiser, you will win. I know that as a vibe would put this in S plus at one point.
Yeah, Vibe
I-
loved this thing. Fuck.
Yeah.
I know he was a big fan of the Locust.
But
Yeah,
I
think
think
that's fair.
I think this is it's a little disrespectful to put this thing near like the Giga nerfed heavy hunter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think
I
B
like
tier's
it.
good. All right, I get another cool unit, Mammoth. I'm
Oh.
putting this in S tier somewhere. Is it better than I think it is better than the Crusader, just because it comes out of the Foundry.
Or the Starforge is there?
Starforge.
Foundries,
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, Starforge. Yeah, I'd put that better than the Crusader. Yeah, what do you guys think? You just mass.
I will probably switch it with the anti-air gun, anti-air airship. So I kept forgetting the
Oh, they're
golden
almost
name.
a tie to me because you almost like played them together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I don't know which one is more. Like it's so
I-
hard because
I personally would put this below the airship. I would even make an argument to put it below Crusader because it didn't.
no, not
it
at the end.
didn't- Because people were like, "Oh, Mammoth Kite Crusaders." I never really felt that. I feel like
I
you could
felt
just
it.
A move and
But you also
I-
played like melee decks. I played like Gunbot. Like with Gunbot,
Yeah.
Mammoth is like crazy good at kiting.
Yeah,
yeah, I could agree with that.
I'll just
Yeah,
put it
be-
right
Love
here.
the Crusader.
yeah,
I like it.
yeah.
But I don't think this is airship quality.
I think this is better than the Crusader, and the argument for being better than the airship is because this is like the thing that spawned like the whole metagaming of having like one good air unit
Yeah.
and one and
You know what,
a
you're-
mammoth, and then you
That's
couldn't.
I thought of that. Like it is very good at mind gaming, which the airship does not have.
Yeah,
I
it's not
could
even
see
like,
it being. I'd put it above the airship. Actually.
Yeah, like
Yeah, because you can like there's
Yeah,
versatility
I like
in the
it when
way
they're ship. If you guys
it gives
agree.
you more options. I think.
yeah,
Well
it's the
played.
same problem as the Falcon. Basically, it was part of that combination where like the Starforge slot could just lock out your opponent of options completely,
Yeah.
but just by existing.
Yeah, because it's like, what do you make? You have to. They get to control the pace of the game. Like, do I make anti-air or do I make anti-heavy? Which one do I make? And you have to wait. All of a sudden, they're at their
Yeah.
doorstep, and you're making the counter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Lorimbo, you get a
Another interesting unit. Well,
like, what is Advanced Gunbot? Is this that its name?
no, this is the missile bot.
Missile bot.
I don't know how I actually remember all of these names. I'm not looking them up. So I hope I didn't get them wrong. I think this is the missile
We've got
bot,
them
yeah.
all pretty well. Yeah, this is Missile Bot.
So- At one point, I remember this being used quite widely by the pros.
Yeah, the
This was
best
like, I
players
think
use
the
it.
highest DPS, and the highest anti-air DPS when steamed.
I think it's also the hardest anti-air core unit to use because it's
Yeah.
slow. You have to be smart with it, but it's good if you're like. It
So
just felt so hard to play with.
this was a weird unit. It's hard to properly gauge. I will put this somewhere in B tier, which might seem a bit high. This unit so basically no play, but when players were really good, and if they ever got close to the top, these started to become more and more appealing, just because the stats when used properly are really really good. But it was so hard because it was low, so you will always get out of position. You will always be taken out of position. Then it also had the charge system like the Gambot. But unlike the Gambot, where you could manage it a bit more easily, because it was a ground unit, this one, you would be like, oh, I really need anti-air right now, and I have no charge, I'm just dead. So, I think where you're overing is about fine. I think,
Yeah, I
think
think it's
this
better
is
than
good.
Locust.
Yeah,
But worse than
I
Advanced
like.
Recall.
This is not Blink Hunter. This is not Hornet. It's just
Yeah.
I see the units
I don't
coming
know,
up.
this-
Lorimbo's getting
yeah.
shafted.
I am also noticing a trend. Oh my god, it's actually done on purpose. Oh my god, it's
alphabetical order, bro. It's alphabetical
Oh my
order.
God.
You have a controversial one. The Raider coming up. I'd put the Raider high. Just
Yeah, S plus
I
tier right there.
Oh,
no.
God. Ruined the tier.
Okay,
Alright, but we got
mortar?
Albino with the mortar.
I mean, this, like, I feel like in every deck you either ran Mortar or Shocker. You needed a splash unit.
Are you
This
not a
thing
Recall
to-
Shocker fan?
I mean, if you wanted content, of course. This thing is way high. I think it's below the crab. This thing was in fucking insane. Like,
I think so
and
too.
pe-
It counters
people
heavy
used
units.
it when it did at one point. How I use this is when I hotkeyed my army, I put all my mortars on a separate hotkey so I could target fire all the gunbots behind the Crusaders. And when you start doing that, like, the value of this thing just goes straight up.
Yeah.
It's
I watched
like,
when you dissected Clem with these things.
yeah, like, it's absolutely insane. You can pick off backlines. It counters like Shocker, which was very popular. It did completely fine versus like heavy ballista. Completely destroyed Gumbot. I mean,
Really?
it's
It was actually counter to every ballista. Pretty decent
Yeah.
counter.
it was very good, and this thing was the ultimate defensive unit. It was, if you set up a position offensively, it was completely insane. There's, to me, I always ran Mortar in my deck. It was very rare I did not have Mortar in my deck.
I will put this above the crab. While I did not personally like playing this unit a lot, I think this was like, it's basically as good as the Falcon, but they do different things, so that it's very hard to compare. The Mortar is insane. It's
Yeah,
even more
I
insane
can
by
see
the
it.
fact that it's both very good, like by itself, like just letting it do its thing. But it even has like a higher skill ceiling than most other units because you can focus fire with it.
Yeah.
And get even more value. I feel like it's above the crab most likely.
I could see it being above the. I don't mind putting it above the crab because
Yeah,
I
guess crab's
I ran them
countered
both.
by kind of Crusader and kind of Destroyer. Not really Crusader. Mammoth was decent versus crab, but I feel like Mortar had no great counter.
They had one counter.
And it was the
That was not
sniper.
it was the sniper.
Yeah.
So
Would
like
you put
they had
above
a
crab?
tier. Yeah.
They're
Come on.
both, like, to me it's a tie. Like, they both.
Yeah.
If you guys vote above crab, we'll put it above
You
crab.
get to
But
pick. I think
I'll
it's a
put it
tie.
above. I'll put it above crab.
I mean, for
Just-
this, it doesn't really matter for units of that caliber because they are basically just best in slot, all insane in what they
Yeah.
do. But they do different things, so it's very hard to compare them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Alright, I
like
get
the
Oh,
the
go
king
ahead.
crab allowed you to all in and stuff with it, where Mortar didn't really. So it's it's whatever.
Cool. Alright, I get the Predator. This unit got nerfed near the end versus ground. it was a great unit for making your deck well-rounded versus most air, but it still sucked versus some air. It's not as good as Advanced Blink. It's probably not even as good as Heavy Ballista. I'd probably put it like here in A tier, ahead of Blink.
I think you're a little influenced by 2v2. Like this thing in 2v2 is very good.
I guess
but,
that's true. Maybe
like I'm not putting it. I'd put it. I don't know.
yeah,
I'd keep going
2v2 is
lower, no?
better.
I
I'd
would
go
put it
more
in
C.
FT. I would put it in F tier in both 1v1 and 2v2. And you can't even argue with me because I was the same MMR as you guys in both versions. This is,
Yeah, but I don't
how do you
know.
guys think this is fine? This is complete garbage. Unplayable. What was this useful for?
Okay, I need to think towards the
Shooting
end.
up.
It used to hit ground too, and it used to do splash versus ground, but then it didn't. So I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember.
after it didn't do splash anymore.
Yeah,
In
maybe-
which
maybe I didn't play
situation
this
was this
unit.
ever good?
You know
Compared
what?
to
I didn't.
Advanced Blink or Valkyrie?
Now that I'm thinking about it, I never really saw this unit ever. But in 2v2, I actually felt like it was pretty good.
Oh my god.
They did.
It did.
nerf it.
It did its job. It
It
killed.
killed
air.
Falcons.
It did kill Falcons.
Yeah, so did Advanced Blink and Valkyrie and Airship and
Yeah.
literally
Advanced Blink
anything that was not...
struggled. I feel though versus Falcons still. Like
Me
it was good
personally,
versus Falcon, but it was like
No.
not.
I'd put it
amazing.
like low C, high D, personally. Like I don't think it's better than Heavy Hunter, but
I would say
mean,
high D.
I think it's better than Heavy Hunter. I think the Heavy Hunter
No,
sucks.
it's not. It's not. It's not. Bro, I would put this at the same level as the Ballista. What are you talking about?
this is not quite Ballista level. Like Ballista literally does nothing. This thing actually.
Alright, best D tier unit.
Yeah.
It's
You
the
know,
go-to
I get that
D
we're
tier.
trying to
Fine with
I get that we're trying to compromise the vote, but it's hard to compromise when one of us is like, oh yeah, the Raider is actually a S plus tier unit.
No,
The
I'm
other
not
two
saying.
are-
I'm not saying. Okay, I talked with Harding about this unit, and he's like, "This is the most stress-inducing unit in the game."
But they
If
nerfed
this
it
is
to
in-
shit.
Before
it's
the
like
nerf,
expensive and
It is.
slow.
They did nerf it, but I
This
mean,
is
like,
complete
it still. But
garbage.
if it gets in a mineral line, like, you're pulling your hair. This thing will make you go bald. It's insane.
It was
Okay.
S tier down to F, I feel. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
your unit
luckily
Albino,
I'm-
so you get to pick. Wait, is
No,
it
it's
yours?
mine.
Oh, never mind. It's Lorimbo's.
It's
Lorimbo
actually,
gets to pick.
I always get this amazing. I mean, F tier for me. I'm trying to decide which shade of shit this is. Like which specific kind. Like I feel like it's worse than almost every unit of here. I mean, above the Kraken and below the turret. I think. Yeah,
I think it's
that's
the king of
right.
F tier, personally.
No, it's not. No. Okay.
I
okay.
actually think it's worse than the turret too. But if you
Yeah.
if you hate your friends, you play deck this.
Yeah,
Like,
like
Lorimbo, where's it going?
I think the only reason why I don't put it like below the hunter or something is because it, you know, if a miracle happens and you both manage to get this out without losing and get this into the enemy mineral line without it being one-shotted while going at 3 miles per hour speed, then it actually did in fact kill Workers really quickly, and not even by that much actually, because it was while it did kill Workers quickly, it wouldn't move very quickly, so you get like the first 4 Workers instantly disappear, and then it takes forever to get to the next piece. So yeah, that's about right.
Cool. All right. We have Albino with recall. I know he dreads
Yeah.
this unit.
Recall was fucking insane. It beat everything. It beat every single tier 1 unit except Gunbot. It was
Yeah.
completely nuts. I mean, if you wanted to be a high level player, you had to learn how to use recall. in
Oh,
my
I
opinion.
didn't. I didn't
This-
learn. I didn't use them a single time. Don't like.
Well, I
your
didn't. I
viewers.
didn't either, and it shafted me hard.
And he got 5-0'd by parting in the finals
Yeah.
both times.
To be fair, I didn't play Gunbot. I actually did play Little Recall, but I would put this thing above Gunbot personally.
Same.
Like
any
even,
higher?
even above Crusader.
I'm considering how high I want to go with this because it's
Yeah,
It's good.
It's
It's
so
easy to
good.
play too. It's not even difficult.
I
think
really despise
it's
this unit.
it's a little nuanced to play. Dude, I might even put it above Mammoth. Like this unit.
I was thinking I think it's like up. This is
I
like
like it
in
there.
okay, we should have done like God tier for units that are unclassifiable. Like with the current top 4 of S tier, basically. Where these units are like I can't even compare. Like, is it better than the Falcon?
We can add a god tier. Should I add a god
We
tier?
should. Yeah, add God
Yeah.
tier. Like,
Oh,
because
we
these
get a
are
bonus tier.
it's like, how do you even
Yeah.
classify this?
These units are fucking like the
God
recall
tier-
was so good.
I feel like God tier we don't even like order because it's like impossible
Yeah.
to
like,
compare.
With something like Blink, it's sort of playable into everything if you're better than your opponent. But the problem with recall, if you play it properly, it absolutely dumpsters most things. And even late game, like you get a big ball of these.
I also
The
think it's
DPS
like
is crazy.
so much easier to use for what is like it's like
Yeah.
compared to the Gambot. Like if you think the Gambot is hard and it has good value, this is like insanely easy and even better value.
Yeah.
Like this is I really despise this unit because I think this like created one of the most no skill meta ever, where people will need no APM, no multitasking, no brain, honestly, and could just never take up. You would put like a lock piece of you would play something like Falcon and a good anti-air in Starforge, and like heavy hunter and a good anti-ground, like an anti-splash or something in Foundry, and then you will just play this and you will get your opponent stuck at tier 1 forever. So many, let's call them more beginner friendly players played with this unit and got to very high ranks. This, like, in my opinion, I don't even know if he actually played it, but he should have. This is like the quintessential Donilia unit.
He did play it.
Oh, of
Well,
course he did. Of
Yeah,
course
of
he
course
did.
Yeah.
This is like the quintessential Donilia unit. It basically it's impossible to fuck up with this. It's literally like you can, because this has like 3 seconds of cooldown and they would immediately shoot after teleport.
Yeah. It was this
That was
While
tanky.
having
completely crazy.
while having insane stats. You could get this surrounded with melee units and they would win.
Yeah, it was
This-
annoying
yeah.
when you like started with scorpions, and it's like I guess I just fucking lose still. Like what just
Yeah.
happened? I guess I just never
This
fight.
was like this was the unit that taught me you have to know how to play all tier 1 units.
You have to play
properly.
Gumbot. Like if you don't know how to play Gumbot, you're gonna get 5-0'd by
You
this
you
unit.
you have to. There's like a little circle, in my
Yeah.
opinion, that like all the tier 1 units like sort of counter each other, and then blinks in the middle because it's like decent versus everything. And like this playing recall made me learn how to play Gunbot. Like
You
this
are.
unit's fucking insane.
That's
Yeah.
why I never had to learn recall because I
It's
would
'cause you play
So-
Gunbot.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean the thing that recall counters the most is probably scorpions.
Yeah,
I would
for
say.
sure.
Oh yeah.
I would just play Scorpion against Scorpion, so I didn't need to like get a counter to it. But luckily, I knew how to play Gambo because otherwise, was hell.
It was insane.
Yeah. All right, we got advanced recall. This is me.
Yeah.
Who's this? Oh,
It's you.
that's boring. I think it was better than Blink, but worse than the Blink Hunter.
No, wait, this is not advanced recall. This is anti recall.
What's it
Recall
called?
Hunter.
What's the name?
Recall Hunter.
Blink Recall Hunter. Sorry, I'd put it right here. Like I liked this unit because it could teleport, fight ground, fight air. It was well rounded. It was just slow, so it was worse than the Blink Hunter, but easier to use than the Blink Hunter.
Same opinion. I would put it a bit lower, probably top of the tier.
I'd put it. I definitely think it's behind Blink.
Yeah.
I could
could
see it
see
top
that.
of B, low A. Think it
Top
all.
of beam kind of like it's better
Yeah,
than
I don't-
advanced. It's better than
King of
advanced
B-
recall for me.
Yeah, I guess it's better than Kappa's.
It's about the same.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just keep the chart more even. Yeah, I could see this.
I mean, obviously, the difference between the lowest A tier and the highest B tier is purely
Very
semantic.
negligible.
Yeah.
Purely semantic. Oh, I get another great unit
Here,
to talk
do you wanna
about.
swap with- do you-
I saw this coming.
Do you want to swap with me, Lorimbo?
No, because because you know you want the
He
sniper.
loves this unit. He's gonna put it in S tier.
Like,
Albino
I
loves it.
saw.
Okay, Lorimbo, I'm just gonna tell you right now, this is actually my favorite unit in the game.
Seriously, no way, right?
Yeah, it's my favorite unit in the game. So treat it well, give it the respect it deserves. It's cute, it waddles around. It's like derpy. It sucks because it's like derpy almost. The stats are shit, so treat it well.
Okay, D minus. Below the beetle. Because you asked me, I did not put it in F.
Yeah,
okay?
thank you.
Because you
agree
are
with
so
D-.
nice. Okay, so it's. I mean, I don't want this to be buffed, to be clear, because
Yeah,
once
it
again
can.
it's a recall unit, which was, and that's the same thing. Actually, this is potentially even more annoying because recall as a single projectile, this does splash. You can teleport on a base and instantly one shot an entire enemy army with splash from this. Luckily, it has bad stats and is the slowest unit in the game, I think.
They buffed its speed and internal testing, and they said it was way too OP. Like, you literally can't touch this unit. You can barely give it more HP. You can't really give it more splash, like a bigger AoE. You can't touch this unit. It's just gonna be shit and funny.
It has to be shit.
That's-
I don't want to live in
yeah.
a world where this is not
Yeah.
shit. It's
But if you give this thing more speed, it goes from D tier to God tier.
yeah, I mean, yeah, no, but because
Very quick.
because the unit has insane stats on paper and the ability to instantly teleport while doing AoE.
It's crazy.
Like, the only reason why this is bad is because you can only use that way. The moment this unit can get up, like, beyond
if you leave your
halfway,
base.
below halfway of the
Yeah.
map, this skyrockets to God tier because the actual unit is insane. It's
I agree.
cute
I
and
agree
waddles
with this.
around. Very cute animations.
Yeah,
All right.
D minus is probably a little too nice for it, but we'll go with that.
No, we're leaving it there.
No, I mean, like,
These are-
I've legit lost a game to this.
Yeah. It's the cutest unit in the game, so it deserves D tier. Okay, is this me with Scorpion?
Yep, this is the
Oh,
albino.
it's Destiny.
Where
This
you putting it?
this at the end, this fucking unit was so good. It was insane. I'd put it top of S tier personally. I do think it's
Me too.
better. I think it's better than
God tier.
Gumbot.
Come on, you have to go
I think
God
it's-
tier.
What? You have to go God tier, you think?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
only issue I have with Scorpion is it does sort of lose to Blink, and it gets absolutely destroyed by everything in God tier.
It only loses.
Like
No.
I think if you play a very good Blink player, it's supposed to lose.
Yeah, basically.
It's,
So the Scorpion loses to Blink if you're playing exactly in Trigger, Parting, or Clem.
well, I actually think you can play this first trigger, but first parting, yeah, you can't play
And
this.
I beat Clem by playing Scorpion against the Blink. So I also think that maybe Parting is the only player.
Yeah,
Okay.
like when I say on paper, I mean against parting, this unit's shit, and I think parting literally keeps this thing out of God tier. Like, I don't think
No,
you should main
I cannot-
Scorpion.
Okay, but I did. Come on, you cannot like gate a unit.
Based on parting?
Yeah,
Okay,
because
that's fair.
then the
That's fair
recall
to
is
say.
also not God tier. Because like Parting was also
No, the recall is still God tier, because
no, Parting was also a
anyone
pretty
can
good
use it.
user of Gambot and would shit on you with it. So like that doesn't like, in my opinion, it's a God tier. It was completely meta defining even after
let's
the
move it to
nerfs.
God tier then.
It's like
It's like, it's very versatile.
There's a
you
triangle,
can-
I feel, with these three units.
yeah, but the thing is,
Nah.
the Gambot. This was the reason like I like the Gambot so much. But the Gambot actually required a bit of usage of it, and didn't get like a super easy win against Recall. Even though when you played well, it does absolutely shit on Recall, but it's so easy to fuck up and just lose the game. While the other two are also brain dead, so gold tier for me. Like it's
Cool.
I love the
Yeah.
Scorpion. I main Scorpion at the end.
I
it
main Scorpion
complemented-
also. at the
same,
end.
same.
Yeah.
We all main squad. It's also a super fun unit, honestly. It's like
Yeah.
it's a good wasp. Wasp
Oh, I
is
disagree.
what? You don't like scorpions? Are insane.
No, it's just a 1A unit.
He's a Protoss player, man.
Ah,
He wants to
okay.
blink
Okay.
and
Yeah. Protoss players well known for their love of microing.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well,
Yo, I have sick micro clips. Okay.
I didn't say it.
But yeah, it's all right. We got the. Is this me?
Yep. Shocker.
Shocker. Probably A tier. It's just a worse artillery. I put it
You mean a
here.
worse mortar, by the way.
mortar. Yeah, mortar. Worse
Definitely
mortar.
not a worse artillery.
Yeah. I think it's better than the Behemoth in terms of its role, but like it's just overshadowed by S and God tier units. Too hard for it to go any higher. But it's not a bad unit. Like you could win games with it, definitely.
This was one of my favorite units, and I would still put it a bit lower than that. Probably top of B tier. No, okay,
These
maybe.
units all suck though. like-
Towards the end, the
I don't
shocker
know.
was like the problem is that like there was a moment before the destroyer got giga buffed and like dumbed down for no reason. Thank you, David Kim.
Yeah.
I feel like the shocker really had that place and was actually a really cool unit.
Yeah.
I love playing it. But
And if you
after-
masked it, it could actually kill like king crabs and stuff.
yeah,
Like,
because you could trade
it's
with
pretty
king.
massive.
Yeah, you could trade with king crabs, and more importantly, it wouldn't easily lose to mortars because you could play something like this. I would play, for example, Crusader Shocker. Became the meta for a while, and I really like that because like your opponent couldn't just auto win. Like if they were playing mortar, for example, they had to be very careful about Crusaders. And the Shocker was a good in-between unit that kind of dealt his job. Like, it was good against, obviously, swarms. But it also had decently fine trades against stuff like king crabs, more importantly. And a very bit of trading against even Crusader themselves. So it was pretty good there. But after that, like after the destroyer got buffed, the mortar just became so oppressive that there was no reason to ever play the shocker.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I felt you always put either the mortar or the shocker, and it was a little bit of personal preference and how you like to play.
Yeah,
But the mortar beat the shocker. That's why I played the mortar.
yeah.
So
Yeah, same here. But yeah, do you guys think this is fair? I think
Somewhere
I like
around
it.
that, yeah.
yeah,
I,
I don't think
Yeah.
it's better than Blink or.
I think it's worse than the
Heavy Blast,
Behemoth at the end, honestly. The Behemoth had some use in some strats. The shocker
Yeah.
was like straight
I
up
think at
worse than
the
the
end, it's
mortar.
fair.
Yeah.
It's fair to put it bottom A tier. That's I
Okay.
mean A tier for this unit.
yeah, I think that's
It's
fair.
It's I like the design of. I really like the shocker.
Yeah, it's fun. For
Also,
sure. And I
super
like the
cool animation.
animations.
Yeah, super
Yeah.
cool. Can we talk about that? Battleaces has some sick animations. The
Yeah,
the recall shocker also has sick animation with the green lightning.
I mean, I think all the recall units with like the laser beam, the green laser beam.
I mean,
So it's like and they're
the recall
they're
doesn't have an
updating them.
animation. Like the standard recall doesn't have a projectile. Or
But
anything.
the hunter, it's like choo, it's like a laser beam. They're all like that, and the recall does too. It's like a green laser. I remember it.
Okay.
We'll pull up videos.
Okay.
And
I finally get the one good unit I get to rate. Okay. So I have a doubt here. Okay. Cause does anyone remember if this got nerfed at the last patch? Because I don't remember playing it after, like at the very end. But I can't recall if because it was nerfed or like the meta just shifted. It's hard to
I
judge.
think it might have been nerfed a bit, but it was still in 2v2. It was like by far the best 2v2
Yeah, yeah.
late game unit
This
ever.
is God tier in 2v2.
Yeah, 1v1 totally different though.
I think in 1v1 it was still pretty good. Like, I will put this in S tier, actually. Low S tier.
Really?
Yeah. This was the best counter to... Like, this was single-handedly what prevented double tier 3 strategies forever, like, getting 2 out of hand. Sorry, not double tier 3 strategy. I meant the mortar destroyer strategies from getting 2 out of hand. It's top of A, bottom of S for me. It's hard to tell. Like, what do you think, Albino?
I don't think this thing's better than Dragonfly and Advanced Blink. I
Yeah,
put
I
it
was gonna
just
say
below that.
I always go Advanced Blink over it in 1v1.
Advanced Blink, I mean, the quality of Advanced Blink is just absolutely insane. Like, I feel like the sniper kind of filled niches where, like,
Yeah.
the other units ahead of it, you just build them always because they were always valuable. But like sniper, like if you had sniper in your deck, sometimes you're not even teching to it.
It was also a very good counter to heavy ballista. Okay, I'll put it below Advanced Blink, but above Hornet. You convince me.
Yeah,
I guess the reason why this
like
confuses me is because this is one of the hardest counters in the game. Like,
yeah,
when this thing is good, it's like above gold tier. It's
amazing.
Insane.
It just wins the game.
It instantly wins the game. And then there are situations in which you don't play at all. So it's like, when I played Arson, we will call this tech units. And this will be like a top tier tech unit. Where like, it's meta defining, but it's a tech unit still. So it's not just, you don't always play this. It's meta defining because like it does its job the best. And completely warps the meta about this. But still, you wouldn't always play this, like in a mirror, for example, or anything like that. So I think around top of A is fine.
Okay. Yeah, and in 2v2, I'd probably put it Giga God tier.
I mean, I think this is the best 2v2 unit, probably.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
But yeah, it's heavy in supply, it's expensive, and it's slow. But when you have friends to back it up, or you just back it up, it's even more, it just synergizes so well. But yeah, by itself, it's like very niche. Okay, is it my Albino's turn? I think.
Oh, Stinger this is
Stinger.
Yeah.
Fuck, this thing
Albino's a Stinger enjoyer.
Yeah, I actually really love Stinger. I did sort of a variation of the one ground Starforge and one air Starforge, and I did it with Stinger instead of Mammoth.
I also played that variation instead of Mammoth, actually.
I really liked it. Unfortunately, towards the end, this thing lost everything. They nerfed it, right? At the end.
So hard.
I think they nerfed it against big units or against heavy units, something like that.
To be fair, it was too good against. Like, there was no reason for this to be good against big.
It was insane.
Made no sense.
But you used to be able to like rush with it. You could micro against like a Crusader gunbot. You could like just keep a good spacing and constantly micro against it. But at the end, this thing was terrible. It was unusable.
No, not completely unusable. I think that is a C tier unit.
Yeah.
No?
I mean, I think it's better than like the Locust, but
no,
I don't think so. I think it's like low C tier, maybe even high. Yeah, low C tier. I like it there.
It's about the same as Heavy Hunter, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Before getting nerfed though, it was legitimately like A+ for me.
Yeah,
I used it instead of the Mammoth. I think the Mammoth was better, but I like this. I like this one.
I like I like
the
more, fast play style. Yeah.
It was more to my liking.
Okay. I get recall or sorry, a Swift Shocker.
Swift Shocker.
Oh man, there were some weird all-ins you could do with this unit, but it was so niche. I would put it worse than the Stinger.
You would put it this high?
King of D tier, maybe? It wasn't a terrible unit, actually.
The Predator is so bad. I feel so bad putting anything below this. Below Predator. Like, you have to earn being below Predator.
Like, bro, I could play this unit in my deck.
You said that you originally wanted to put Predator. You said it was pretty good. You wanted to put it like a B.
I think that was
What are you talking about? No, both of you. Both of you. Don't try to rewrite this. Viewer, go back in the video and write under comments. They're trying to rewrite history here. I was the one that said that the Predator was complete garbage and F tier. They're trying to rewrite history here.
I need to refresh. Okay, I had to think about
because there's been times where the Predator was crazy. So We had to go back to
And, like,
type because he
the
used to have
thing was-
splash and versus ground.
The thing was, if you want to kill air units, the Predator kills air units. This thing barely kills fucking, like, swarms of units. Like, it's close.
some
It's good
cheeses,
against wasps, but
some cheeses were like annoying with this.
yeah, oh yeah. But, I
Yeah.
mean,
You know,
near the end, though...
shout out to Conqueror playing a cheese with this.
I mean, Conqueror played one base all-ins, or you'd play a 10-minute, or like a 13-minute, or what was the max? 11-minute?
10.
And he'd just wall off with mortars.
It would just play much worse
Okay.
against me.
Yeah, I'll say above the Predator.
I get another of the...
All right, Lorimbo.
All right,
This
so
is your last unit.
Controversial.
the best one.
Is this worse or better than the other turret? Is the question.
I genuinely, I could, like, if I saw
I
them
forget,
in game,
what-
I couldn't
This one
tell
comes
the
out of the
difference.
Foundry.
Yeah, one of them's
So-
Foundry, one of them's
Just the
Starforge.
fact this comes to the Foundry makes me think it's terrible.
I think this is worse than the other turret for sure, from what I recall. Like Printf told me, no answer. It's also like worse started. And I think it's like not
Yeah.
even by a bit, like it's significantly worse.
Like, at least
I
if you
trust
text...
Printf on this.
Yeah. At least if you text Starforge, you, like, might get to Falcon.
You're hovering
You
too
have-
high. You're hovering too high. Like we are talking. I think this is one of the definitely below the artillery. Okay. Now is it?
Right, the artillery finally getting some respect.
Yeah. Now is it worse than the bulwark? The ballista is not worse than the under. It's impossible to be worse than the low suit. But
No, it's above Ballista. Because you can
No,
body
I-
block with it. It's the same heavy turret. It's just a worse heavy turret.
no, but that this one, no, I think it's worse than the ballista. Final call.
I've
The ballista
I've
actually can do something, can like move on across the map and
I've-
accidentally kill a bot. You
I
can't
think
even
it's better
kill a
than the
bot with
ballista.
this. You can't even kill a bot
killed
with this.
Ballista. I've killed Ballista users with wasps. 100% I have.
You
I
can't.
bet you I could find the VOD.
What do you mean? I've lost to just wasp with a real deck. What are you talking about? Okay, you can't even kill an AI with this. It's what?
Okay, that's fact. That's true. You can't kill it. Okay, you can put it below Ballista.
All right, Lorimbo, where's it going?
Below the ballista. Below the ballista.
Yeah.
It can't even kill the AI. I mean, the other turret can't either, but we don't talk about that. It's below the ballista. This is the
Oh,
only
alright.
other unit I consider to be like low suit tier for how bad they are.
Valkyrie was one of those units that started... at one point, it was amazing, right? It just won every air battle, and it was good versus ground.
Yeah.
This was like you automatically put it in your deck, but after they nerfed it, it lost to airship, no? Am I crazy for
No,
thinking
I
that?
don't think so. I
No,
definitely
You
it
don't think
crushed
so?
airship. It was super good anti-air in the
It
end.
was still
but
the best
It was
time
really
okay.
in the
bad
game by
at
far.
everything else. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because
I
at the end it couldn't really even kill workers.
yeah.
God.
I would still put it like. I mean, it was
It was almost in every deck still.
yeah.
Because like it was the
No,
ultimate
really?
anti-air.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like I will put this in
I
S
don't
tier
remember running
somewhere,
this.
probably bottom of S tier, because
I'd put it ahead of the
Really?
Dragonfly wherever I'd put it.
What? No, this thing's worse than Advanced Blink for sure.
no, I disagree.
But it's Starforge, so
yeah, it's
like I feel like Valkyrie was in every. What else do you put over Valkyrie in
yeah.
Starforge?
It was best in slot.
Oh, that's true.
Best in slot. I mean, there was either this or you
I'd-
could choose Bulwark or Cat Bus.
Yeah, it was between this and Cat Bus,
So
basically. I feel
technically
like.
speaking, this is
Or
God
Locust,
tier.
I suppose.
A Locust, yeah. Technically speaking, this is God tier. Because
Well,
why
I
would you
guess
ever
Tier
pick
2 Foundry
anything
But
sucks.
else?
here's
Your
the thing,
Starforge
like,
sucks.
yeah, it was the best in its slot, but you'd never tech to the slot.
No, I would.
You
I
just-
I
you
actually
tech-
did very often. Even
Versus
at the
Don
end.
Ilya, I'd rush it to kill his
Yeah,
Falcons.
no,
I'd
because,
just
like-
go 2 base Valkyrie.
There was a period where people would rush Cat Buses. Falcons were so like oppressive, and sometimes you would run stuff. There were legitimately times where I wouldn't run airship for some reason because I was trying other stuff like in those Like I would be running, for example, think about it this way, right? You would be running something like Dragonfly Mammoth, for example, which was like a legit thing. And your opponent has Falcons. You can tech, you can tech to like you can both tech to Starforge, obviously. But then you don't really want to go mass Dragonfly against mass Falcon, because then just a simple Blink Hunter switch, you just lose all of your Dragonfly, you get removed by the Falcons, and you can't do anything. This would be like the perfect out. This allowed you to not run Airship if you prefer something like Dragonfly or anything. Basically, if you didn't want to run Airship, this gave you the perfect out. By letting you
It's
run...
the best anti-air in the game.
Yeah, I think it's S tier for that reason, but below the Destroyer.
I don't.
Yeah, it's better than Dragonfly. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Okay, I put it top of A. I don't think this thing belongs with like Mammoth and Destroyer and Crusader. Like those are staples.
Yeah.
I don't think this is like an automatic
best A unit.
staple. The problem is like, yeah, it's best in slot, but I feel like it's almost better to tech Starforge and then tech Foundry. Like it's all you'll get more value.
Depends.
No,
You can
It
make
depends on
your
what I
deck
see.
so
Like if my
that.
opponent goes Starforge and I go Starforge and I just instant tech tier 2 Starforge, they have to have Valkyrie or they lose.
Yeah. I feel like the reason why you're thinking this, Albino, is because you played Airship so much. And of course, if you have tier 2 Airship, yeah, I think that's just straight up better. That's like... but even then, because at one point, even towards the end, even after they nerfed Airship, if the game ever devolves to Airship versus Airship, which can still happen, this was also auto-win. And if your opponent had Valkyrie and you didn't, you also would auto-lose because of that.
Did this thing not lose to tier 1 anti-air?
Absolutely
No,
not. Absolutely
No?
not. No,
No.
because you could like run around. It was pretty quick.
It's super fast, super long range. It's
Yeah.
like Dragonfly speed, but way longer range. It was not as good versus ground, but
Yeah.
it could
Like,
kill ground still if
You
you got
couldn't.
enough.
Yeah, because when you got this by late game timing, you will do like you could use this as a rush if your opponent ever tried to switch into ground. And it's not like they can ever push you because you have mortars and you have like whatever you have at 10 minutes. So tier 1 anti-air is not a problem.
How much do you want this in S tier?
A lot.
Lorimbo? A lot? Okay, we can put it below. It's definitely below Destroyer.
Yeah, bottom of S tier.
But whose unit is this? Was it mine?
It's
It's
Albino.
Oh, it's Albino's. Oh, he gets to pick then.
We
Shit,
can
that
put
was-
it bottom S because Lorimbo is very adamant about that. I must be remembering it wrong because I remember this thing being terrible. I don't know. I
No.
felt like at the very end I never put it in a deck. I
That
remember.
was the opposite. It was in all my decks.
Same. It was also in all my decks.
Maybe I'm just a airship abuser. I don't know.
I mean, it's just I think
I just
a
don't know
matter
what
of
you'd put
personal
instead
preference.
besides like Cat Bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have it in my deck maybe, but I don't remember teching to it. And I remember it being
Yeah.
very weak versus ground units.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you know
is
what
true.
I put next patch though? Advanced Destroyer, because that's Starforge. So next patch, Advanced Destroyer. But yeah.
All right. Theory with the last one.
The most
Oh, this
controversial.
unit
This is
used
the
to be
most...
S, God, but they nerfed it. It's worse than Scorpion. It's countered by everything now because it's just so bad versus workers. It's just so bad now.
I don't
It's like
think
good for
it's
one base
easier.
all in, and that's it. I think it's worse than Crab.
No, I don't think it's worse than Crab. Come on.
But at least
Come
Crab can
on.
kill workers.
Yeah, but this thing, like
This thing can't do anything.
no.
It can't kill anything.
It has such insane speed.
Like
there is so
blink
much
counters,
potential.
it's super hard now.
Yeah, but you also have opportunities where you can like go, for example, for double tier 1 ground, which was not very meta, to be clear. And
But I
like,
feel like double tier 1 ground is better with Scorpion still.
this would allow for like some really 6 rounds and some like harass potential.
I
and
guess.
stuff.
Yeah, I guess if you went like recall.
So you think
Lost.
it's better than Crab?
Slightly, basically, I would put it with Crab in C tier. Honestly,
I put it above.
like above, below. It's
Yeah,
like, it's
yeah,
a hard
that's
call,
fair.
honestly.
I've tried to make it work, and I feel like it just it didn't really kill workers. It didn't really kill units. It got absolutely blasted by anything in
All
tier
I'm
2.
saying, I want this to be here, to be at C, because this was the single most boosted unit in the game I have runs, entire runs. Like if you watch my stream of battleaces, like 50% of my stream was just me ranting non-stop about Wasp and how much I hated it. These are,
But it was used to be a free win versus like Blink.
but not only was
But
a
now
free
it's-
win, but it wasn't just a free win about Blink. You could be like alpha skilled as someone and just auto win because incredibly difficult to play against this. You're out of position for a second, you lose your entire mineral line. You foolishly think that your tier 1 unit is gonna trade better against their, faster tier 1 unit. So sure, it's gonna trade worse, and then you will get surrounded, and they will trade 3 times as better as you for some reason.
That's true.
For some reason, and then
That's true.
you will have people. I'm not gonna name names, but a certain Finnish player who I gave a key for battleaces too, and just abuses the one base all in. Will tell me I was scoping about was being completely busted, and it was just a matter of playing well against them.
I think I know. Who. I like it.
Yeah,
like
I
this
think
tier
so
list.
too. Yeah, I think this is a good tier list.
Yeah, I think this is more or less.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only controversial.
I don't agree with everything, but I'll go with it. I like it.
The only controversial thing we did. Is there anything controversial here actually?
I think Crab is a little high, and I think
No.
Advanced Blink should be a little higher.
You're
I
asleep.
think Dragonfly should be higher. I think it's S tier, but
No. I feel like Crab is fine.
I like it.
You're sleeping on the Crab, bro. You're
I am sleeping on it.
Yeah.
Have you played it?
he just doesn't want it to get nerfed because he.
I've
owned
played
in with
against it. I've played against it.
Oh,
and,
the little crab.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the little Crab.
I've played against it, and it
I mean, it was
it
definitely
doesn't.
definitely not good. Okay, I didn't say it was good. I put it in C tier. Look at the other units in C tier. Okay, is the Crab worse than the Heavy Hunter?
It's better than the Heavy
Hey.
Hunter.
I've seen Heavy Hunter
I've seen
get play.
I've seen the Crab get played. Bonner was a big fan of it. He loved the Hunter. I feel like the Crab. Sorry, I feel like the reason why Crab is so bad, like specifically why we consider it so bad, doesn't necessarily have to do only with like how bad it is by itself, but by the fact that you have the Scorpion, which does exactly the same thing but way better. And I feel
Yeah,
like that's why
okay.
it looks worse. Because the Scorpion was just, so much better while doing covering exactly the same position in every single way. So there was no differentiation. And then it looks awful, obviously. Why would you ever play the Crab? But as a unit itself, like, there are some units in D tier. Like, think about T tier, okay? Any of these units, I see in someone's deck, and I think I'm gonna get a free win against. The Crab... The Crab is like, okay, this guy is playing the Crab. I'm actually more worried because, like, he's doing it.
He knows something.
Yeah, he knows something. You know?
Yeah.
I lost to Percival's
Okay.
crabs before, so
All right, I like it. I like this tier list.
cool. Good work, guys.
To
We
keep-
even added a tier in the middle of the video.
Yeah.
Okay, but you understand why I feel like the gold tier makes sense. Because if you
Yeah,
look at
I
those
like
5
Yeah,
units,
yeah, I like it.
it's super
Yeah.
hard to actually rate them. And they all basically were meta. Like,
They're in every game.
yeah, every single meta, like, not the last patch meta. These units were not only completely determinant in games themselves where they were played, but were so impactful that you would build entire decks with these builds in mind. Like every single deck you had to keep these 5 units in mind. You could not build a
That's
deck
true.
without thinking
Yeah.
of these 5. It was just not doable. Like if your deck lost to Scorpions, you couldn't play it. If your deck lost to Vehicle, you couldn't play it. If your deck lost to, like, I don't know, Crusader, you could kind of play it. Like, you see the difference.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I think this is a good tier list. Yeah, thanks guys for joining. Any closing thoughts or anything?
I don't know.
Aside for
I
battles?
mean, no.
Albino
There's-
is a boosted battleace RTS.
Yeah.
I keep
yeah.
forgetting what he was.
What do you mean? What I? Oh.
What the specific sentence about you was?
Oh, a dog shit RTS player and a battleaces player.
Yeah, a dog
Is the
shit RTS
specific.
player and a
Yeah.
battle ace player, as always.
Yeah.
I
We
can
have the dog shit battleaces player himself for this tier list insight.
I'll pull up my tournament winnings. It's okay.
You're number 2, right?
Number 2.
for battle aces.
Cool.
How much is
Yeah.
number 2? $150?
No, it was pretty good. Overall, of battle aces, I won maybe $500.
Wait,
Really?
what?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, outside
Wow.
of the show match and the tournament, what else was there?
There was show match,
King of the Hill.
tournament,
Oh,
I
yeah, they
mean,
were the king. I
the-
couldn't play in those. Yeah, I remember now.
King of the Hill,
Yeah, okay.
and the tournament was quite a bit of money
I,
because it was transferring. Well, to be fair, it's transferring euro to Canadian, which is almost doubles. So it's
damn.
pretty good.
How bad is
Yeah,
your
cool.
value? How bad is your money?
It's about half of a euro.
All right.
Good stuff. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this Battle Aces playlist, and make sure to check out all of our Battle Aces streams on November 6th, I think. is when
Wait.
it starts.
Like and
We'll
subscribe
be,
to
hopefully be giving out keys. Yeah.
like and subscribe to this channel, and like and subscribe to All Things Real Time on YouTube. Come on, give me. You're supposed to tell me, Lorimbo. Do you want a shout out? Like, where can we find you?
See everybody, we're signed off. No, just kidding. Yeah, go ahead.
Nah, just,
Yeah, Lorimbo from All Things Real Time. Check out our other video together. We did a collab.
Yeah, we also did a
Mostly-
collab.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, thanks for
Bye.
joining us, Lorimbo.
All right.
And me and
Yeah.
Albino are from Aftermath. Yeah, check out Aftermath. But yeah, thanks guys. And see you, everybody.